You must watch this video first, and then you have my permission to die.
I'm sorry. Hello everyone, welcome back to Potty Planet Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today we're going to be wrapping up our Dark Knight trilogy series review with The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises was released in 2012 and it stars Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Anne Hathaway, Gary Oldman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Ben Mendelsohn. It was directed by Christopher Nolan and is produced by Kevin DeLanoy, Benjamin Melniker, Thomas Tull, and Michael Uslan. In this movie, the Batman villain in this movie is Bane, the big muscular guy who talks like this, and he is going to overthrow Gotham City. His goal is to release all the prisoners that have been locked up after the Harvey Dent Act cleared up the streets, and he's just going to rage all-out war against the police and against ordinary citizens, and they're going to take over Gotham City, and Batman is going to stop this. I'm not even sure if I like this one more or if I like The Dark Knight more. Batman Begins is definitely my least favorite of the series. Even though I still love that movie, it's my least favorite of the three. This one, though, this is such a good movie. Such a good movie. Bane is awesome in this movie. He's way, way better than he was in Batman and Robin. Bomb! 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 It's so stupid. This movie, Tom Hardy knocked it out of the park with this. Oh man, he was perfect. I love his voice in this movie, the way he talks. But even though his voice is a little silly, it works. And it's good because it really very easily could have come across as cheesy, but his voice actually really works in the film. And Tom Hardy was just perfect in his role. He was very scary, very intimidating, and this was the one that I feel like challenged Batman and Bruce Wayne the most, because yeah, he had his really hard time in the last two movies, but this one not only challenged him like mentally, but it challenged him physically. He was very physically challenged. He actually fights. So there's two fight scenes between Batman and Bane in this movie, and in the first one, they're both awesome. Like, they're both like two of my all-time favorite movie fights. But he really gets challenged, like, because he's not used to losing fights. And so I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but you kind of already expected it because it's like midway through the movie. But he loses the first fight against Bane, and Bane like cracks his mask. He cracks this thing, and it's like, he got him, like, seriously, like, because Batman loses everything. He loses that fight, he loses a lot of his abilities physically, he loses all of his money, he gets thrown into a prison in the ground that he has to work his way out of. I mean, it loses all hope, and I believe the tagline of this movie had something to do about losing hope. And Batman and Bruce Wayne, he completely loses all hope. But The Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry, I'll stop. There's a great war in this movie. Great war. Again, no spoilers, but there's a war at the end of this movie, and it is awesome. I get so hyped whenever I watch it. I was just watching it a few minutes ago before I started this review, and watching this, I was like, so good. It's so good. It's such good stuff. Michael Caine, brilliant actor. He really sold it. Some heart-wrenching stuff with him in this film. Just such beautiful acting. This movie will really make the audience fear for Batman, because when he first encounters Bane, you're like, oh, he's gonna die. Yeah, he's probably gonna die. The movie's not even half over, but he's probably gonna die. And that's good filming. When you know that the movie isn't even over yet, but you still fear for the main character's life, that's good filmmaking. And the action is amazing. This one actually has the best action of the three films. The action in this movie, perfect. Perfect action. It's so great. And he actually fights the bad guy in this one. He didn't, that was one of, even though I love The Dark Knight, I didn't really like how he doesn't really fight either of the bad guys. And I mean, I guess he does briefly fight the Joker. You know, like he's fighting the Joker while fighting some henchmen, and then he later on fights the Joker. But he's not really fighting the Joker. It's just sort of the Joker beating him up with a crowbar. But this one, he actually fights the villain twice, and they're awesome. It's suspenseful. It's very suspenseful. There's this scene where, again, no spoilers, but where Commissioner Gordon is walking on some ice, on like a frozen river. Very suspenseful stuff, man. Very suspenseful stuff. The ending climax is hype. The music in all three of these movies is really good, and the ending is, while sad, also rewarding, and it feels right. You know what I mean? The ending of this movie, it feels right. It does. I really like the ending of this movie. There's some cool stuff that's unraveled at the end of this movie too. This movie, now I would like to discuss some of the things that people don't like about this movie. Now, really the only thing that people don't like about this movie is that there are plot holes. Now, I'm not really sure what all these plot holes are, but I know that one of them is that people are like, so at some point in the movie, Batman leaves Gotham and then he gets back, and people are like, well, how did he get back? He gets back through his helicopter, through the autopilot, the Bat. That's what his, or not really a helicopter, but his flying machine, because he gets this cool flying machine in it. That's how he gets back, in case you were wondering. He sets the autopilot to come pick him up, and then he goes back to Gotham. That's how it happens. But I'm not really sure what the other plot holes are. But when a movie is as good as this, you can sort of forgive it for that. It's like Back to the Future. People are always like, well, how did Marty McFly's parents not recognize him as the guy who set them up back in the 50s? Who cares? It's a great movie. Now, you could say that, like, you know, his parents didn't recognize because they only knew this guy for like a week and it was 30 years ago. You could, you know, but the point is that who cares? Who cares? It's an amazing movie. Just, no movie's perfect. Just watch and enjoy this masterpiece of a film. The Dark Knight Rises, absolutely, without a doubt, gets a 100. I know that Batman Begins was the only one in the series that I didn't give a 100. I still gave it a really high grade, but not a 100. It's the only one of these movies I don't feel like is perfect. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if I like this one more or The Dark Knight more. I'm not really sure. But, this one feels more satisfying to me than The Dark Knight does. So maybe I like this one a little more. I'm not really sure. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potty Planner Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave movie suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Potty Planner Entertainment for channel updates. And,
much love.